Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Again, we're having a little bit of a glitch on the Facebook connection. We're still trying to work through that. So appreciate you all being on and using the link that was texted out. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. If you're here, drop a comment in. Let me know you're here. Got a pretty quick little training today, actually. It's more of an idea that I had that I've been doing myself as well. I think it works well. So it's called the Unsolicited CMA. And what the Unsolicited CMA is basically, I want you to think about this for a minute. Think of all of your clients or that bought a home prior to COVID. So think of all of the clients you had that bought a home with you prior to 2020. Or let's say you weren't in the business prior to 2020. Think about all of the people in your database or people that you know that purchased a home prior to 2020. So everybody that bought a home before COVID, 2018, 17, 19, they are in a really good equity position right now. So even again, if you weren't in the business, I want you to go back and think about who do you know, who's in your database, what family members, friends, people you worked with, all of that purchased a home prior to 2020. And keep this statistic in mind. Since 2020, we have seen over 50% appreciation in homes, which is crazy. I think over Missouri, it's like 58% appreciation since 2020. So if you think about that, typical appreciation in our area is 3 to 4%, which means that over a 4-year period, we would maybe see 16% appreciation max. Somewhere between 12 and 16%. Sorry, guys, I need to drink of water. So somewhere between 12 and 16% would be normal appreciation. Now, because of the market and everything that happened, post-COVID, we've seen over a 50% increase in price appreciation. So what does that mean? That means there are tons of people that purchased homes prior to 2020 that are sitting on a mountain of equity. So, and a lot of these people may not know the amount of equity they have in their home. So one of the things I think is a great tool that I would start doing is I would take one person per day to start. And what I would do is I would go out and do a CMA for their property. So I'm going to go do a CMA. Now, this is also a really good way to get good at pricing homes. But I would take a client every day, past client, family member, friend, SOI, anything like that have purchased a home, and I would go do a CMA on their property today. I would spend about 30 minutes to doing a CMA on their property, and I would then send them that email and follow it up with a phone call. Hey, I just wanted to let you know, I just sent you an email. I was looking at home values in your neighborhood, and it actually looks like your property has increased by 20%, 30%, 50%, 60%. Were you aware that you could potentially get $600,000 for your home right now? No, I had no idea. Yeah, actually, the home values have really shot up in your neighborhood. I just sent you over an email with some pricing information. Take a look at it and give me a call back with any questions that you have. So what is that doing? Well, one, it's piquing their interest now that they've got a lot of equity that maybe they were unaware of. 2, it's getting your name in front of them. 3, it's solidifying your relationship with them as their realtor, because they're going to say, oh, that was really nice that they sent me over that pricing information. Excuse me. How many realtors do you think are doing this right now? Probably not many. So also, as I mentioned, it gets you good at pricing information. So think about this. One, if you don't know how to price homes, go to networkglobalagents.com. I'm going to pull up the link real quick. But in networkglobalagents.com, we have pricing training videos. So if you're not really familiar with pricing homes, I'm going to recommend that you watch this video that I'm going to drop into a link right now. I'm going to put it in the comments. So go ahead and click on that link, and that's going to give you, you should be able to check out the pricing comp videos there. So 2 things here. It's going to, 1, get you really good at pricing homes, which is very, very important, especially in this market. It's pivotal that we know how to price homes correctly, because we are in a little bit of a shifted market, meaning interest rates have gone up. Homes are starting to sit just a little bit longer. But if a home is in impeccable condition and it's priced correctly, it's selling immediately. And we know that. The homes that aren't in impeccable condition, that are priced a little bit higher than maybe they should be, are tending to sit. So I want to recap on this. So what I want to do, I want to go to all of my clients, family members, friends, people in my database that bought a home prior to 2020, even if they didn't buy a home with me, but they're in my database. I'm going to go back and look, and I'm going to start doing a CMA a day for people. So I'm going to take about 30 minutes and I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to run a CMA on a particular person's property. I'm going to email it to them. Also with the CMA, you can, there's a lot of ways to do this. You can utilize to do a CMA. You can utilize services like Cloud CMA that you can pay for. I would tend to just stick with Maris right now. It doesn't cost anything, and you can put a CMA together from Maris and send it. But I'm going to put a CMA together for one person per day. I'm going to send them that CMA, and I'm going to follow it up with a phone call. And again, my phone call is simple. Hey, it's Michael with Network Global. Just wanted to check in. Appreciate you taking my call. I was actually giving you a call today because I was doing some research on your neighborhood, and it looks like your home value has substantially increased since you purchased your home in 2019. Yeah, I'm showing right now your home. We may be able to sell it, for around $500,000. Take a look at the CMA, and if you have questions on it, feel free to give me a call. Have you been thinking about wanting to make a move at any point in the future? Simple conversation, right? So that's a very simple conversation to have. Now, when you send that CMA, they could say, "Oh, that seems like that seems really low," or "That seems high." "Oh, I thought it would have been more because the one down the street went for 700," whatever it is. And then this is the same way as in the training I mentioned the other day, where we were using the market value on our database. It's the same script. You know what? I totally appreciate that. And what I can do, and what I did here is I just put together a valuation based on what the homes are selling for in your neighborhood to give you a really accurate indication of what we could sell your home for in the market. Why don't I do this? Why don't I just come out for 10 or 15 minutes, do a quick walk through your home, and that way I can put together a super accurate number of what we could sell your home for in the market today. I'm actually going to be in your neighborhood actually on Thursday. Would that work, or would Monday be better? All right. So again, super simple strategy that works really well, and it gives us a reason to call our database. So again, keeping in touch with our database, keeping in front of our database. And I promise you, there aren't many realtors out there that are putting the time in to do this, but it's going to strengthen your relationship considerably with people. It's going to put your name in front of them. And even if they don't respond, they're still going to see it, or they're going to get your voicemail. You could also text this information to them. I would recommend doing a phone call. So I'm going to spend 30 minutes putting a CMA together. I'm going to email it out. I'm going to pick up the phone and call them. If they don't answer, I'm going to leave them a voicemail. But I challenge you all to do this week and see how much response you get. If you start right now, today's Thursday, you do one today, one tomorrow, and do 5 next week. That's 7 touches that I think are extremely high value touches to your database. And I promise you, a lot of your database probably is unaware that their home values are worth what they are today. Most people are used to the 3 to 4% appreciation per year. They're not used to the 50+% appreciation we've experienced over the last 4.5 years. That's a lot of appreciation, especially in the middle of the country. You see that kind of appreciation on the coast. You don't really see it here. So home values are extremely high compared to what they were in 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017. So staying in front of your database and letting them know about that, I think, is an extremely important tool. And I promise you, what you'll find too is, even if they don't respond right away, and if you continue to stay in touch with them, you will become their go-to realtor when they're ready to buy and sell a home. So questions on anything I just went through, drop them in the comments. Again, I see some more people just jumping on, so I'm just going to recap real quick. All we're doing here is spending about 30 minutes a day putting a CMA together for people in our database that bought homes prior to 2020 because they have 50+% appreciation on their homes. We're going to email that CMA to them, and we're going to pick up the phone and call them and let them know we sent that CMA over. Super simple strategy. That's also in this business too, though, guys. Like, this business is not that complicated. It's about having enough people in our database, knowing what to say to those people, and saying it enough times. And if we do that, you can have an extremely, extremely solid business year after year after year after year. It's literally just picking up the phone and calling people. But the more you stay in front of people with items of value, the better off your business is going to be. So again, I know this was a super short training compared to usual, but it was more of just an idea to plant a seed to all of you that let's start doing this. Let's start becoming the realtor of choice for people that's providing value and not just sending the daylight savings and like the pie recipes. Like that's what I used to do back in the day when I was a new agent. I would send out pie mailers. That was like the big thing to do. I was, 23, didn't know what I was doing. So I would send out recipe cards. That's what it was. You would mail out recipe cards, and the company I was at, they paid for those back then. And it was just like a black and white cardboard little, I don't know, little whatever it is. Anyway, I got one phone call from those in like the year I did them or something. And the lady like asked me about the recipe. It was a little old lady, and she was asking me about the recipe. So my point there is that's not a value added touch to not a value added touch to your database, right? So like that's me being a baker or something, or having a cookbook. It's not a value add. These are things that are value add. So can we supplement this with the class you did this week with? Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I would recommend. You could set up the listing. And here's the simple thing too. You could set up the listing valuation feature in KV Core. So you could set up the listing valuation feature in KV Core and get an auto value real quick on their property as well. And that would be even faster. You could just make calls. Hey, I was just running, so I did an auto valuation that I just sent out to you, and it looks like your home's worth about 600 grand right now. Were you aware of that? No, I wasn't. Or maybe they say it seems low. Maybe they say it seems high. Well, tell you what, to give you an indication of what it could sell for, why don't I just stop by for 10 or 15 minutes, do a quick walkthrough. I'll put a CMA together, a market analysis, and we'll talk about what we could sell your home for in the market today. So definitely, Tim, I think that's a great way that we can supplement this with the class, this just a couple of days ago from KV Core. Utilizing these simple techniques that we have can be very, very effective. And the biggest thing too is it gives us a reason to call our database, because so many people say, well, I don't know what to say when I call my database. Well, now we have things to talk about. Now we have, if you watch the training on Tuesday, a market report. Market report set up in KV Core takes a minute, 30 seconds. You set it up and it sends them everything going on in their zip code. That's a reason to call. Hey, I just want to let you know, I just set you up on a monthly market update. It's going to keep you up to date with everything going on in your zip code, so you're fully aware of what's happening in the market in your specific area. Or we set them up on the listing valuation. Just want to let you know, I'm sending out a monthly valuation of what your home could sell for in the market. Take a look at that and see what you think. And again, if you want me to do a more detailed market analysis, I'd be more than happy to do that, and I can drop that by this week. So again, these are really good ways to just keep in touch with your database from a value position and from a real estate position, because that's what we are. We're realtors, and our job is to help people buy and sell homes. So one of our responsibilities is to be an advocate for people when they want to sell homes, or really like think of yourself as an advisor, right? Like a financial advisor sits down with their clients once, twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, and talks about their portfolio and what their investments are doing. The people that we work with, their biggest investment usually is their home. So if we look at ourselves as more of an advisor as well, and we call their database even just once a year, hey, I just wanted to check in. I know that most people's homes, their personal home is one of the largest assets that they own. So I'd love to sit down with you and just share with you what's going on in the market right now and what your home is worth in the market right now as well. So that way you have an idea, because people often like to know too, what's my net worth? Right. So we can look at that, those kind of things too, and really come from an advisor role of helping people and showing them what their property values are doing. And I promise you, if people haven't looked at their home value and they bought in 2019 or before, like they're going to be pretty surprised at what their house is worth today. Now, a lot of people keep up in the market, but you'll get those people that don't at all, that they don't really know what's going on in the market. They don't really care. They're just, they're living in their home. So this is a great way to call them too, and let them know everything that's happening and what their home's worth. You may find people, and I'd be curious for people that start doing this, how many people are super surprised for what their home's worth. If they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could sell it for that. That's crazy. You just might pick up some sellers too. Because what I find too is that the more we do and the more people we talk to, things just start to happen. Meaning like people just start calling us back then. Hey, actually, yeah, thanks for reaching out last month. We're actually ready to sell our house, or my niece is wanting to buy a house, or my nephew wants to buy a house, or my son wants to buy a house or sell a house, or whatever the case may be. It's our job just to continue to stay in front of people. So again, super simple strategy. But I challenge you all, spend 30 minutes. We've only got a handful of people on the call today, but everybody on this call today, let's commit to taking 30 minutes, and I'm going to do it myself. 30 minutes a day, put a CMA together, send it out, make the phone call, and let's see what kind of response we get. If we each do one a day, that's 7 between now and next Friday. See what we get. I'd be curious to see if anybody gets any listings from it. So, and the thing is, if you do 7 and you don't get any listings from it, but you have some good conversations, do 5 more the next week, and 5 more the next week, and 5 more the next week, and just keep doing them week after week until you get through your whole database. And by the time you finish your database, you could probably start over and do it again. So let's work on that. Let me see here. I would think even if your client isn't ready to sell, they may tell their neighbors about you. Yeah, I totally agree, Diana. I think you're absolutely right. It's just adding value. And I promise you, most realtors aren't thinking this way, right? Like we've all heard the statistic. I always butcher it. I need to really write that down and remember it. But at closing, the majority of people say they would use the realtor again, 87 to 90%. And like 10 to 12% actually do. So the reason for that is just because realtors don't stay in touch. And oftentimes the reason realtors don't stay in touch is because they often say, well, I don't know what to say. And so this gives us a reason to call. This gives us a reason to check in. This gives us a reason to bring value and show them what their home is worth. And at the end of the day, that's our job. So yeah, let's all work on it this week. If everyone would commit to it, for everybody on the call today, I appreciate you being on. Again, just a short and sweet little training here. But I do think this is a very effective strategy. It can work really well. And I'm curious to see the results that everybody gets by doing it. So if you have any questions, drop it in. Again, it helps you get really good at pricing homes too. So watch the pricing videos. I dropped it in the link in the comments there. But if you have questions too, or you're kind of struggling, you're like, I'm not sure how to price this one, give me a call anytime. Happy to talk through it and happy to help. So appreciate y'all being on. That's all we've got for today. Enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll see you soon. Thanks so much.